What is up, YouTube? Welcome in to the Red Shirts Fantasy Football Podcast. Now, fellas, we got to break this down because this is not a usual show. This is a Friday night recording.
Yes,
the wheels might come off tonight. Things could go wild. Who knows? But YouTube listeners and our usual listeners, if you're tuning in, checking this out, first off, thank you very much. Reminder to everyone, you can find us in your podcast app. And if you want more of kind of our hardcore analysis, breakdowns, scouting profiles, that kind of stuff, that's where you're going to find it. We're going to try to make our YouTube channel informative yet fun and lighthearted. Okada's probably going to tell some dad jokes. John's probably going to say some inappropriate things. They might happen. Yeah. So the disclaimer is out there, but hope you are enjoying the YouTube content thus far. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and comment your thoughts. We'd love to chat with you guys and interact a lot. Find us on social media at RedShirtsFFPod, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And don't forget to check out the website, redshirtsfantasyfootball.com. We have Okada's 6 top wide receiver article up there. I have my top quarterback article up there. And we also have an AJ Brown article coming soon from J Crip. So it is going to be content all over the place. Fellas, it's Friday.
AJ Brown.
How was the week? How you guys feeling?
Well, we recorded a podcast every single day.
Yeah, we did.
But we did record a lot on Sunday and then release a bunch throughout the week. So that was fun.
Yep.
And then I had the week off. So I did a lot of sitting in my overly warm Southern California house, not going to the beach, which we're actually not allowed to do now. They banned the beaches entirely as a result of last weekend's foolishness. So here's that.
So dumb. John, how you doing, man?
I'm alive. I'm not feeling 100% and therefore will not be imbibing on this Friday evening. But yeah, it was a heck of a week in terms of the content that we churned out. That recording marathon last Sunday was a blast. Go check them out, everyone, please. They're really good episodes. It's really, really good content. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a weekend of sitting around and recuperating.
Much needed. Yes. It was a long week of content, a great content, like you said. We started off Monday with our rookie running back breakdown after the draft. Tuesdays was wide receiver. Wednesday was quarterback and tight end. And then Thursday, we put it all together in a rookie mock draft. So if you're looking for rookie content, that is the place to find it. We are in every podcast app that exists on the planet. All right, fellas, let's get into tonight's show. We're going to break down a couple of different scenarios, looking at ADP for Dynasty and redraft. We're going to play Would You Rather. So John, Okada, and myself are going to sit around like 3 middle school girls at a sleepover and play some Would You Rather tonight on the show from a fantasy football perspective. I pulled this ADP from Fantasy Football Calculator. If you would like to reference it, that's where it can be found. We're going to start with Dynasty ADP, fellas. We're looking at running backs to start. Josh Jacobs at the 206 or Derrick Henry right after him at 207. Which running back would you prefer in Dynasty formats?
That is a kind of tough one. Those are two pretty different guys, which makes it even harder to compare in the sense that Henry is not even technically on a deal, and Jacobs is a fresh young rookie, or will be a sophomore now. So they're at different stages. Henry coming off one of the best fantasy seasons, well, certainly his best fantasy season, and an extremely productive rushing season last year. Jacobs having a really good rookie year as well. I think I lean Jacobs, honestly. With running backs, I mean, I do play pretty like 1 to 2 year with running backs. So Derrick Henry is, I'm not as off of Derrick Henry as maybe the other dynasty guys who are looking out 3 or 4 years. But Jacobs giving me 3 years for sure of great production does sway the needle a little bit.
John, I'm going to go contrarian to that. I love Derrick Henry a lot. He won me a lot of leagues with his late season heroics last season. He's an absolute
beast. Always does.
As he always does. If you don't want to draft him at his ADP, that's fine. Go trade for him in week 3 when he puts up 60 yards and his owner's getting frustrated because he's going to churn out like 200 yards a game down the stretch. He's a monster. He's absolutely phenomenal. And I agree with Okada that the situation is very different for both of them. You know that Jacobs is not going anywhere for several years. I don't see a reality where they do not extend Derrick Henry, though. I feel like it has to happen. All that they did was draft a Dion Lewis replacement in Darrington Evans. They're not playing the long game. They had multiple chances at higher draft capital running backs if they wanted to go that route and plan ahead for not getting a deal done. But they didn't. So I don't see how they don't. He's the engine that makes that entire offense go, which is why they felt comfortable with having Tannehill at quarterback instead of needing to go out and get someone that's going to sling it all over the yard, because they're going to lean on Derrick Henry. I think he's going to be one of those rare second contract running backs that stays in a system that works for him and continues to be really productive for at least the next several years.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That second contract kind of description, you know, like we've been saying for a while, like just kind of been churning out dynasty content, that like second contract running backs just tend to fall off. They don't really hit. But Derrick Henry, first 2 years of his deal as a rookie, he was a role player. I mean, DeMarco Murray was the dude in Tennessee during those seasons. So there's still a lot left, I think, in the tank for Henry. I do like that call a lot. I'm still sticking with Jacobs. I'm going to take the younger player, again, dynasty format. I'm going to take the younger player. I'm also going to take a player who, it's egregious, had like 25 targets or something like that. Well, Derrick Henry had even less than that. So I at least have optimism that Derek Carr is going to check the ball down with DeAndre Washington out of town. Until I see it with Derrick Henry, like, give the dude the ball in the air. They just don't. I don't know why. The screen pass is literally the most deadly play in fantasy for Derrick Henry. It works every time. So until I see him get more involved in the passing game, I'm going to lean Josh Jacobs there with the Raiders. All right, boys, kick it over to the wide receiver position here. Cortland Sutton at the 209 or Juju Smith-Schuster at the 210. Again, this is dynasty. Who would you rather have? Keep in mind,
I already know my answer.
Jerry Jeudy recently drafted 15th overall to the Denver Broncos.
Yes, I'm aware of that. And I'm still going Cortland Sutton. But I am notoriously lower on Juju Smith-Schuster than these other two dum-dums. So Cortland Sutton to me is that that's us.
It's
Cortland Sutton to me is that dude. He's a very physical, imposing wide receiver. He was so much better early in the season last year when he had Emmanuel Sanders opposite him, and now they bring in Jerry Jeudy to do that. I think that Sutton is their one. I think that Jeudy is a very, very talented two, and I think that it's only going to open more things up for Cortland Sutton in terms of the coverage that he's going to be facing. I love Cortland Sutton right now. I'm trying to get him in a lot of places, but most people that have him love him. So it's really, really hard. But he is, I think, primed to continue to develop, especially if Drew Lock continues to develop as well. I mean, they did everything they could to give him weapons. So he's going to be expected to take a step forward. I think that Sutton has a really good chance at producing wide receiver one numbers.
All right, Okada, what do you think?
Well, you know very well, Betz, how much I love Juju.
Oh, yes.
It's on the surface, it feels tough for me because I think Sutton is actually the safer option. I think he's more likely to be a consistent wide receiver two, at least, than Juju is potentially. But the upside for Juju, for me, it's going to sway it. And I have to go Juju. First of all, he's younger than Cortland Sutton, which is...
That's crazy.
Hysterical.
Yep.
So whatever you think about Cortland being, coming in more recently, get rid of it in your mind because he's older. Juju has the upside to be the wide receiver one on a consistent basis, and certainly to be a consistent wide receiver, top 5 wide receiver. I don't really think Sutton has that. I think he's going to be more in like the Allen Robinson mold, where you can rely on him to be, and to be fair to Allen Robinson, he's had terrible quarterback play and probably would be better if he didn't. But I also don't know exactly what to expect from Sutton's quarterback play. I think he's going to be a guy who hovers around that top of the wide receiver 2, bottom of the wide receiver 1 range pretty consistently, and that's really nice and a very valuable tool. Mm-hmm. But if the amount of upside I can get in the younger Juju is too hard for me to pass up, and I have to go for him, even though it might be a little more risky.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair point. Cortland Sutton is a stud. He is an alpha wide receiver in this league, no doubt about it. But 1,400-yard seasons don't just happen in the NFL. And yes, Antonio Brown was not off his rocker at the stage of his career. He was still one of the best wide receivers in the league, if not the best at the time. But still, even that scenario, it doesn't just happen. Now, Big Ben's coming back, and we're talking dynasty. We've already said multiple times on the show, on this podcast, or this video, we're not really playing for 5 years out. We're playing for 2 or 3, maybe 3. And I think Ben's around for 2 more years. So I'm going to stick with Juju in this scenario. I love the guy, man. And so fun to root for. So I'm going Juju on this one.
All right. I'm contrarian on both. Sweet.
You are. You're 2 for 2. Before we go to the next one, I have a surprise for you guys. I pulled some random would you rathers that have nothing to do with football. And I'm going to randomly just throw them in when you guys aren't ready.
Let's go.
I found these on the internet. So what could go wrong?
Only good things. Yes. Only good things come from the internet.
Okay. This is an interesting one. Would you rather look 10 years older from the neck up or the neck down? And why don't we go around? Say your age. I'm 28. Okada, what are you?
29.
Okay, John's 29 as well, right?
29. Yep.
Now,
okay. We're all the same age. So
does this apply for the remainder of our lives, or
I
just
believe
right
so.
now? Okay.
No.
You know what? I'm going to take the head up because
we
have the advantage of being men, and everybody knows that the 40, 50-year-old man look is pretty attractive these days.
Yeah.
The dad bod is also okay, but I would rather keep the younger, tighter bod and have the, George Clooney, not that I'm going to look exactly like George Clooney, but the older, old man look in the face.
It's a great comp. It's a wonderful comparison for you to George Clooney.
Absolutely.
I'm going the same route. I'd rather go Silver Fox and get some white streaks in the beard. I'll rock the S out of that while I have an opportunity to still continue to tighten up what's going on below camera. I will absolutely take the 10 years older in the face.
Man, I don't know, guys. My fiance and I are in the middle of planning a wedding. Hopefully it happens in August. We'll see. But when you look back on pictures, even from like 4 years ago, you say to yourself, what the hell happened? I used to be so athletic, so young. I used to look so cool. And now I'm just this old dork, and I'm 28 years old. So if I feel like that now, I can't go with the older face. I got to go with the body. You can always put more clothes on. You can cover it up.
That's true. That is true. You can cover that up a lot easier.
Normal up top. So that's my answer on that one.
All right.
All right, fellas, back to the football. We're going tight end here. Last dynasty question. Would you rather own Hunter Henry going at the 606 or Darren Waller going at the 701?
I want to not go first is what I want to do.
I'm actually surprised that Waller is currently going after Henry. I would have thought that with the hype around him and everyone just loving what he did last season, that he would actually have a higher ADP than Henry, who's oft injured and is going to be with a rookie quarterback and doesn't have Phillip Rivers, the tight end lover, anymore under center. So I just guess I answered my own question. I like Waller straight up better than Henry right now, and especially getting him a whole round later, basically.
Betz, what's our confidence level in Henry's health?
I have if we're on a 10-point scale, 10 being I'm not concerned at all. I'm at like an 8. Like his injuries haven't really been the type that give me that super nervous feeling like a Will Fuller or someone like that. Yes, he's missed a ton of games, but he's had the torn ACL. Then he had the tibial plateau fracture, which is a fracture inside the knee joint. Really, it is a fluke injury. You can't predict those. So comparing apples to apples with Darren Waller, yes, Waller is a better clean bill of health, so to speak. But I feel confident that Hunter Henry is going to be on the field for 16 games this year, barring any unforeseen circumstances. So to answer that question and then to lead right into it, I'm going Henry with this one. He's 2 years younger than Waller. And we can't forget, Darren Waller last year like showed up out of nowhere on Hard Knocks, right? Like we haven't seen anything from him before in the NFL. And it's a great story. He battled some substance abuse issues and legal problems. So it's a great story to see him back in the NFL doing well. But there's a real chance that last year was his ceiling, and we may not ever see anything like that again. So I'm going to take the player who's younger, I think is more athletic, I think has a better chance of kind of building on what he's done so far, which is put up 8 touchdowns in his rookie year. So I'm going to take Hunter Henry, even with Tyrod Taylor there for this season.
Yeah, this one's pretty tough. I do think Waller gets a little bit of a recency bias bump because of how good he was last year and how good he looked. I also think there's maybe some truth to the idea that people just didn't expect that as an NFL teams and didn't really realize they needed to key in on him to the degree that they probably did. So I think they maybe figure that out a little bit more this coming year. I think that probably last year is going to be a high point for him. Now, to be fair, a little lower than last year still might be where Hunter Henry is every year. So it's still tough, but I think I'm going to butt just barely. Yep, I'm going to lean a little towards Hunter Henry. It's really, really close. It's almost a toss-up for me. But I do think Hunter Henry is the successor to Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz if he can get healthy. And Waller does have pretty similar upside, but I think Henry might be that guy that we see as the number 1 tight end for the next 3 or 4 years. So I'm going to go with him by a hair.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything like off the top of your head? Do you remember how Tyrod worked with a tight end in Buffalo? And I know like Dynasty again, Justin Herbert's the dude there long term, but there's a chance that Tyrod starts all season, which matters in Dynasty, just like redraft. Do you guys remember? I think it was Charles Clay.
Charles Clay, right?
Yeah, Charles Clay. He loved Charles Clay.
Yeah. I want to go back and dig into that research a little bit more and see kind of like what the market share was for Charles Clay and kind of see like what the targets looked like, because if he has that tendency, like we were saying with Phillip Rivers not being there, maybe it's not as bad as we think. So we'll go back and take a look.
Well, and one thing on Justin Herbert also before we move on, their tight end whose name is evading me right now out of Oregon last year. He was absolutely feasting for the first, I think it was like 5 or 6 weeks of the season. Herbert was targeting him a ton. He was having a massive breakout year at the tight end position, ended up breaking his leg, went undrafted, and then was an undrafted free agent signing. I want to say it was with Baltimore right after the draft this year. So Herbert was showing some pretty good ability to read the tight end down the middle of the field and get a tight end involved there as well. So it might be something where the big body target makes himself friendly to a young quarterback that's developing. And that could be something that they work with. They've got so many weapons in LA. The Chargers do. It's going to be fun to see.
I did the research for you real quick, Betz. Back in 2016, that was the year that Tyrod started the whole year for the Bills pretty much. Clay led the team in targets, led the team in receptions, was second to Robert Woods in yards, and was tied for the most touchdowns on the team that year. So Taylor wasn't super productive, but Clay was the most productive of his pass catchers.
Yeah, it could happen. If I remember correctly, though, too, that was the year Sammy Watkins was hurt or not even on the roster.
Yes, he was not
like the only thing on the roster. So take that with a grain of salt. But hey, there's some hope for Tyrod using the tight end. Fellas, I'm hungry. You know I'm hungry because our sponsor is Nuts and More.
Oh, true.
nutsandmore.com/redshirts is the link. If you're just finding us on YouTube, you guys need to check out nutsandmore.com. Delicious almond butters, peanut butters, packed with protein, good for you, and they taste absolutely delicious. I use this product. It's in my pantry weekly. And the best thing about it, not only do you get 15% off with our discount code REDSHIRTS, you get this delivered right to your door. So this coronavirus nonsense that you don't have to go to the grocery store, just stay home, stay safe, order Nuts and More, use our code, get some money saved, and get some delicious products here in your pantry. nutsandmore.com/redshirts.
Betz, am I or am I not correct that there's a s'more flavor?
There is a s'more flavor, and it is absolutely phenomenal.
I feel like slapping some of that on an actual s'more could be incredible.
Game changing. Have you guys ever put, instead of, while we're on the topic of s'mores, have you ever put a Reese's peanut butter cup in instead of a Hershey's bar?
I have heard of this
life-changing
habit.
I have also done s'mores using Nutter Butters instead of graham crackers.
Interesting.
They're delicious.
Wow.
Amazing. Man, you guys, YouTube, like,
boy, I'm
getting
looking
so
at
much
these right
advice.
now. These are not. These are great prices too. Nuts and more.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
they're
Mocha
affordable and
cappuccino,
taste so
high
good.
protein peanut butter spread. Let's
Mm.
go.
Slapping on a
Have that
bagel
with
in
your
the
coffee?
morning. Yeah.
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
chocolate almond butter.
Let's go. We'll put the link in the description of the video so you guys can check it out. All right, fellas, on to the next Would You Rather segment. We're going to switch away from player analysis. Let's talk some league formats.
Okay.
It's draft season. It's dynasty season. Everyone's doing either a rookie draft or a startup. Maybe you're doing some best balls. Would you guys prefer to do a live draft timer, whether it's in person or not? I think we all agree probably in person is best and the most fun.
Yeah.
But would you rather do like set aside 2 hours on this day at this time? We're going to draft and you get 2 minutes per pick or whatever it is, a time draft, or do you prefer the slow draft? What do you think?
I'm going to take this as a player rather than as a commissioner, because I commission a lot of the leagues that I've played in, and one of these is much easier to handle than the other as a commissioner.
Yep.
However, as a player, it's the time draft easily for me. There is nothing more fun than gathering around for 2 hours, even if it was a Zoom call, but certainly if it's in a living room. You know, me and my buddies used to wear our football jerseys and just trash talk constantly throughout the whole draft, laugh at people's picks. It is the best. That's one of my favorite things to do all year, let alone in this Would You Rather game. So it's that for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. I mean, the best fantasy football draft that I ever did was at CenturyLink Field. They did a fantasy football bundle where you could rent out a suite and they would cater it with wings and hot dogs and Coors Light and just pump it. It was so much fun. And yeah, same thing. Everyone just decked out in jerseys. We're in Seattle and someone's rocking a Miami jersey. I'm like, okay, I don't really understand that. But it was so much fun. I'm the same way. I want a live draft. I want it timed. I almost would prefer to have the timer just be a little bit longer, like a 5 to 10 minute, in case you want to negotiate a trade. Like
in Dynasty, nice to have that's super fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Dynasty, I want a little bit of a longer timer. If I'm doing redraft, I'm with you. Just give me the 2 minute pick. Let's slam through it, not trading picks at all, and just hustle through that thing and make fun of each other. It's the best way.
Have you guys ever done a rookie draft in person with the league? Because that is next level.
No, I have
my
not.
college
not
league,
yet.
Shout out to JMU, James Madison. My college buddies and I, there are 14 of us. We get together every summer. Usually we do our rookie draft like July, August. Like we wait a while just because we all do other things that are early in the year that everyone's doing rookie drafts now and like in May. So we wait a while so we still have something else to look forward to. It is phenomenal. There was a year we were in San Diego. We make the loser every year do a punishment. We played paintball. The loser had to run a gauntlet back and forth. While we all just pelted him with paintballs. Made him wear a heavy tracksuit. It is like 90 degrees in San Diego.
Nice.
In August. He had to wear that same tracksuit that he was wearing at the paintball field to the bar that we held the draft at. Phenomenal. Draft board, servers, like the whole thing. That is how you do a draft. So I'm with you guys. It's got to be the time draft. It's got to be in person if possible. Next question. Would you guys rather do a 10-man league or a 12-man league, and why?
For the most part, I prefer my leagues to be bigger. I think the main reason is nowadays I play mostly with either like actual industry people or just people who've played fantasy football for a long time. Back in the day when it was, you brought your dad into the league and your cousin and things like that. Then I don't mind the 10-man because it's a little easier. But nowadays, I want to be able to find a guy deep on the waivers that wouldn't even be looked at in a 10-man league and put him in my flex and have him have a big day for me. So the bigger past 14 is probably too much. But if you give me a 12, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I still have a 10-team league. It loses a little bit of luster for me. I like the deeper rosters. I like that it forces you to do a little bit more analysis, a little more thinking, instead of, one team ending up with like 3 of the top 16 running backs and then just rolling out the same lineup every single week. So I like the the parity a little bit more of a 12-team league.
Agree. I think it rewards you for doing your homework. It rewards you for listening to the Red Shirts Fantasy Football podcast.
Yes, it does.
It's almost impossible to set a bad lineup in a 10-man league. There's just so much depth on the waiver wire that if it's like Sunday, like 2 hours before kickoff, and you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize this guy was hurt, you can just pick someone up and it's no big deal. And I don't think that really rewards the fantasy player that does their homework. So I like the 12-man league for that reason, for sure. Plus, it's always fun to interact with more people in a league with 12 versus 10. All right, guys, it almost seems like Superflex is the new norm. And I don't even know if this is really a question for any of us. I think I already know the answer, but would you guys rather play in a Superflex league? And listeners, watchers, if you're not familiar, hopefully you are by now, but Superflex is a format where essentially you start one quarterback as you normally do, and then you get an additional flex spot that you can put a wide receiver, a running back in that you normally do, or you can put a quarterback in, which is very advantageous over those other positions. So almost always you're starting two quarterbacks. So fellas, Superflex or single quarterback, what do you prefer?
Yeah, this one's not even close for me. Way back in the day, before Superflex was even a thing, and when 2QB still wasn't cool, my main college league was a 2QB league, and it was unquestionably the coolest thing ever because every other league was like, oh, what's this? I've got Phillip Rivers on the waiver wire and my quarterback's on bye. I'm going to throw him in and I get an easy 20 points. Right. No big deal. All right, on to the next guy. 1QB is just not it. It's just not. 2QB is way more fun. You get to play with way more of the quarterbacks in the league. You have to figure out your buys. And then Superflex makes it better because if you do have an unfortunate situation where two of your guys on bye and one is injured, you can still throw a receiver in there and feel all right. So it's a little superior to 2QB, but absolutely Superflex.
Yeah, I was late to the Superflex game because I was a long time 10-person single quarterback, a home league guy for years. Like you were talking about earlier with family and close family friends and stuff like that. That was just the norm. So then everyone starts talking more and more about Superflex. And I'm like, two quarterbacks. What is that? What? No, you only play one. Like, it's just, you don't play two quarterbacks.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. They don't, it's one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and a defense. That's how you play fantasy football. And then I caved and I did my first Superflex, and I had no idea what I was doing during the startup draft. I'm seeing quarterbacks going in the first round, and I'm like, wait, you wait on quarterbacks. I don't understand. You draft a quarterback in the 7th round. And then it was the 4th round suddenly, and all the quarterbacks were gone. And I was going, oh, now I understand. But now I love it. I don't even remember how to do single quarterback.
Me neither.
The 110 team dynasty league that I was just talking about is a single quarterback, but we have voted for 2021 to go Superflex so that we have a year to negotiate trades and get our rosters the way that we want, and then go into next year's rookie drafts and adjust it from there after that. But I don't even remember how to value players non-Superflex anymore. It's such a challenge.
Well, here's what you do. You wait till like the 14th round and take, I don't even know. I can't even think of a good name right now. Like, you could take Blake Bortles 3 years ago.
Gardner Minshew in the 14th
and you would be
round,
fine. And that just is not real life. Like, the quarterback position is so important to real life football that I think you have to value it that way in fantasy. So I'm with you guys. John, I believe I saw you tweet today. I don't even know how to non-Superflex anymore.
Yep.
Also, as a point of note, even the NFL has realized this is the better way to go because you got the Saints with Taysom Hill, you got the Eagles now with Jalen Hurts. Apparently, this is what the cool kids do.
Oh man,
apparently. All right, boys. Last one, then we'll kick it over to some redraft. Yeah, way too early. It is May. Redraft. Would you rather? Do you guys prefer to play in raw like formats of scoring that have premium set up for different positions? So points per first down, bonus plays for 50-yard plays, stuff like that. Tight end premium, points per carry. Do you like that flair, or do you like the usual PPR, half PPR type of scoring settings? What do you think?
The only one that I enjoy is a mild tight end premium. Like, I don't want the 2
What does that mean? Mild?
Yeah, I don't want like 2 points per reception added for a tight end. Like, I don't want it astronomical, but like an extra half point per reception for a tight end makes the good tight ends more valuable. It makes drafting a tight end more important. It changes the way that you go about looking at your roster a little bit. It means that your tight ends who in standard scoring, or not standard scoring, in PPR scoring that might give you, 8 points are then contributing more along the lines of like 12 or 14, depending on the yardage. So it makes them a little bit more valuable without blowing it out of the water and making them like the only focus of your draft. So I do like a little bit of a tight end premium, but I don't like the big play. I don't like point per carry. I don't like that stuff. It's just not for me.
I think the only one on this list that I don't like is a point or the big play stuff, because for me, getting 1 yard fewer than whatever your minimum is, not giving you bonus points, and then you get that 1 extra yard and you get all these bonus points is a little fluky for me and wonky. The other is I'm always down for anything that creates extra depth in the league, extra strategy to be figured out, and raises the point totals. I like I like to win. I like to win week 210 to 195. That's my kind of fantasy football. So if you give me some extra points to throw around, that sounds fun to me.
Yeah, I play in a league with some sickos in this industry. It's a dynasty super flex league. It's like every premium you can think of, like tight end premium, points per carry, point per first down. Like I don't even know what else. Like it's almost too stressful to even follow it. Like, and when you play in so many leagues, like you have to remember, okay, this league it's just regular PPR. Like I'm good. This league is super flex and tight end premium. Okay, put 2 tight ends in your lineup. Like it's just so much to think about that I've kind of soured on it. And now that I have experience with it, I love the idea at first. I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool. And now I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm with John. I like a little bit of tight end premium to kind of get that positional value. I love super flex, as we've said, but I can pass on the others, I think. That's me personally. All right, boys. Next, random would you rather.
Oh.
Would you rather speak all languages or be able to speak to all animals?
Oh.
This is easy for me.
Wow.
It'd be so cool to talk to animals.
Okay, what is the animal situation where you live?
Moose.
Scorpions.
I live in Vermont.
There are mooses, meese.
Many much moosin'.
Or you can say like deer, moose. It's just the same word.
But there are a lot of those types of creatures.
Yes, dude, I live in freaking Vermont.
Yeah,
I'm basically Canadian.
See, here's the thing. I live in Orange County, which means I have seagulls, and that's about it. So while that sounds really cool on the surface to me, like if I lived in Montana, I'd probably go animals. But living where I live, it's not going to do me much good. So I'm going to take all the languages, especially helpful in LA, Orange County. I would be able to talk to a lot of different people in a lot of different languages. So give me that.
I would take the languages so that I could theoretically travel wherever I wanted to and not have to stress about it. Like if I want to go into the freaking countryside in Italy and come across some random stranger and ask them where to find the best pasta, and they'll be able to help me out. That sounds fantastic. If like I want that ability to go anywhere and not have a language barrier be a stressor. I always feel like I would be so unintentionally rude if I didn't speak their language. They're like, oh, stupid, ignorant American that doesn't know anything, and walk away. But if I could actually converse with people wherever I went, I'd have so much fun to just get to talk and get the lay of the land. And you'd learn so much more about that culture and about the things that you could experience there than you would by just reading a translated tour book.
Now, I did just realize that if you think outside of the box a little bit, both of these can get a little more interesting, because if you could talk to all animals, you would have literally zero hesitation or issue getting a show on a television network.
True.
Where you talk to animals, like travel around the world and talk to animals and translate what they said, you would be an absolute hit. So I could quit my job in LA and do that. And if I could speak every language, I'm pretty sure I would be like hired by the White House or the military or the CIA as an interpreter or something. And that would be a pretty cush life as well. So both of those really change up the situation. I still think I'm taking what I'm taking, but I wouldn't mind being like crocodile hunter on crack.
Yeah, I'm going animals. It's just more fun, I think, that way. So that is my answer. All right, boys, on to some redraft talk. Now, it is May. It is way too early. Things are going to change, but here we are. For 2020, would you rather take Keenan Allen or Adam Thielen? Both guys going at the exact same ADP, so within a pick or two of each other at the 308.
I am typically a Keenan Allen truther, but I'm going to take Adam Thielen in this situation. He's going to have more targets than Allen, I believe, just based off what's there with Diggs gone. And I trust Kirk Cousins for now more than I trust Justin Herbert. And I think Herbert can be good and support his fantasy wide receivers there in a year or two. But I think this year I'm going to stick with Cousins, which means I'm sticking with Thielen.
Yeah, I'm the same way redraft minded. In Dynasty, I want Keenan Allen. If I'm going redraft, though, where I already have the rapport between the wide receiver and the quarterback and Diggs just left town, they brought in Justin Jefferson, who we all love and expect to be a fantastic contributor in Dynasty, but wide receiver contribution year one can be a little hit and miss while they're adjusting, especially this year where we might not have any form of OTAs or anything. So yeah, I'm going to go Thielen, who's already got the rapport with his quarterback and has the opportunity to get just a massive target share in that offense.
Yeah, Adam Thielen could push for even in like a relative low volume passing offense. Just given that when you look at the depth chart, he could push for 130 targets without even thinking twice about it. I'm going to take that. Yeah, easy. That seems like the floor. So I'm going to take Thielen. Just so many targets to go around. I'm going to take the volume there, even though I love Keenan. So give me
ceiling is the floor.
Yes. All right. I'm really excited for John's answer on this one. We have James Conner at the 404 or Devin Singletary. Again, same ADP going within a pick or two of each other. 404. Now, the Bills did just add Zach Moss. The Steelers just added Anthony McFarland out of Maryland, rookie running back. In redraft, not considering Dynasty because I think we know the answer there. Who would you rather have for this season?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go with Devin Singletary. And there's two reasons for that. One, I trust him to be healthy more, much more. And two, I trust the Bills offense to care more about getting him the ball than the Steelers offense to care about James Conner getting the ball. And like, if we assume that both of these rookies come in and have an impact, even if Moss has a bigger one, I think that the amount of carries that are going to be there to go around in the Buffalo offense is going to be significantly higher. And I also really like Singletary's talent and think he's on par with at least James Conner. So I'm going to take Singletary here, which I feel like might be contrarian, but we'll see.
This one sucks. This is really hard because I'm not super high on either of these guys this year. This is a really, really tough one. How dare you, Betz? I'm gonna go Connor.
Ask the tough questions.
I'm gonna go Connor on this one. Connor was in like the entire Pittsburgh offense last year, just an atrocious situation at quarterback. Yes, he has injury concerns. Yes, I don't love that, but I really feel like Pittsburgh is going to feature one running back more than I think Buffalo will. I think that Buffalo is going to split things up. I think they drafted Moss to use him. Whereas Pittsburgh kind of notoriously runs their one running back really hard. Now, I would love for them to actually divvy it up a little bit because he does have wear and tear problems. So please bring in Anthony McFarland. Please give McFarland 30% of the touches. That's fine. Keep James Conner healthy. But when James Conner was healthy, man, he was lightning in a bottle in that offense a couple years ago. He won me leagues off the waiver wire. Like, he was unreal. He has RB1 upside if he's healthy and if things go according to plan. The health is a concern, which is the only reason why this is a tougher question than it is. But I believe in James Conner a lot more than I believe in Singletary. I'm going to go Conner.
Yeah, for me, it just comes down to injury risk. I'm going to avoid James Conner. I probably won't own him this year in redraft, to be honest with you guys. That ankle is a concern. History of multiple high ankle sprains on the same side, the same ankle. It just tends to kind of recur year after year and can be easily aggravated. The AC joint injury from last year, not a concern. That'll heal very well over the offseason, but the ankle is big time a concern. And like John said, Pittsburgh historically has been, I'm going to lean on one primary running back, and they're going to be the dude. I'm not sure Connor's going to hold up. So from an injury risk standpoint, I'm off of Connor. I will take Devin Singletary. All right, fellas, last one, and then we can close this out. Jamison Crowder, 1106. We're talking some late round wide receivers here. Or Preston Williams, again, exact same ADP, 1106. Who would you rather have? We're talking half PPR.
Oh, why did you do that?
Oh, man.
Because the PPR is so easy.
I know, it really is, and I was ready to give it. I'm still going to give it, and it's going to be the same thing with half. If you went to standard, then I might start to sway my mind. But if I'm getting at least half a point per catch, I'm going Jamison Crowder all over the place. And I'm probably taking him a little higher than 1106. I've mentioned this, I think, a couple times when we talked about the Jets drafting a wide receiver and what that could look like. I think Crowder is still going to lead the team in targets. I think he's going to push 110, maybe even more, but around 110 will probably end up being my projection. And even if I don't trust Darnold too much, that's enough to give me a wide receiver 3 for sure, even in half PPR. And he's going to be safe. I don't think he's going to, give me a nice floor every week. So give me Crowder, give me the new Jarvis Landry with far less talent in Gase's offense.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. I want Jamison Crowder for 14 catches and 52 yards every single week. So
yep.
I will, at his points, I will take that volume all day long, and he's going to get it. So, them not going high-end wide receiver, like passing on Judy Lamb, I think is a big deal. I like Denzel Mims a lot, but that's a tier break. Like, that is a difference maker for sure. So I still think that he's going to be heavily involved, while Mims is going to be more of a field stretcher that, has more touchdown upside. Absolutely. But I think the volume for Jamison Crowder, as unsexy as it sounds, he's going to be a really good fantasy asset this year. And I think that he should be drafted higher than the 11th, like what Okada was saying.
Yep, I'm with you guys. Exact same points. I'll take the volume. Yeah, give me that all day. He's like the perfect, I don't know, wide receiver 4 for your roster.
Absolutely.
Easy. And you can play him as like a wide receiver 2, 3 most weeks. So I'm in on Jamison Crowder. Volume is going to be there for sure. All right, boys. That is it for today's show. The YouTube special. Again, we're going to be doing these probably weekly, bi-weekly. We'll kind of see what shakes out with the schedule, but we're going to have content coming out all over the place. redshirtsfantasyfootball.com for your articles, for your rankings. We have dynasty rankings. We have rookie rankings. It's too soon for redraft rankings, but soon enough. And we also have 2 podcasts dropping in your podcast app this week. All right, fellas. Until next time, follow Okada at Matt Okada. Follow John at Dynasty Beard. Follow me at The Fantasy PT. Until next time, we are the Red Shirts.